Welcome to the Hoagie Time podcast, ladies and gentlemen. More like just gentlemen. No chicks are watching this.
Oh, it may surprise you, you know. Chicks are going to podcasts too. I mean, we got HT O'Hagan on the ones and twos. So
Hey, Mr. Producer, HT O'Hagan.
What's up, my man?
Not a whole lot, man.
Yeah.
How's it been going since the last week? It's good to be here again at Ground Central.
Yeah, we're going to be kicking out this podcast every week, and we have some stories for you. I got a story from you. I got a story for you from the weekend.
You want to just dive right into it?
Well, but we get to it. We'll get to it a little later.
Well, here's our goal for tonight. We had the pilot episode that was just released, a rough cut. We've got what we're going to try to do tonight is just give you guys some background on who we are if you don't already know us, and we're going to get things moving. We're going to set the table for a lot of great episodes ahead.
We're also going to add in, we didn't mention before, we're going to add in a song at the end of each one. We might not do that tonight for our initial introduction, but you can expect that in the future. Heif and I playing a song together, whether it be an original or a cover we really like. That'll be a segment to the pod, so get ready for that.
Yeah, buckle up.
So
it's going to be real sexy.
All right, so let's start with you, Heif Dog. Give us a little introduction. Say somebody's not from Delaware County, doesn't know you already. Take us through it, man. Take us through where you're from. How did it all start with you?
I'm the fucking American dream is who the fuck I am. Let's just dive right in. Yeah, Heif Dog, Collingdale, Pennsylvania, the sheriff of Sharon Ave, St. Joe's Collingdale Parish.
I'll give you that.
To Monsignor Bonner High School, to Westchester University, where I founded Team Natty Ice with my boys, and then the peak just fell off. That was the peak.
That'll be a familiar theme.
You know, just another ant marching these days.
Great,
you know,
man.
Another working man. Yeah, but we go way, way back.
Yeah.
Your sister was in my grade.
Yeah.
You were a couple years behind me.
Yeah.
And always knew you. You played guitar. Oh, here. Okay, let's.
Sure.
This is great right here.
Yeah.
People ask me, when did you start playing guitar? And I said, I know exactly when. We're going to name drop here. I'm going to name drop.
I don't know the day, but I don't
know the date, but
the story.
Going into my senior
this is
year.
the first time I'm hearing this.
Yeah, here we go. Going into my senior year at Bonner, I'm class of 1998, before the turn of the century.
Don't play a hate.
Yo, you can't. But the teachers were on strike, which as a Teamster I respect. You know, now that I've been on,
as a union man,
that has experience on the picket line, I respect this.
Yeah.
The teachers going into my senior year at Bonner were on strike for the first week.
I remember this.
And Billy Skaggs' parents, rest in peace, were away.
Yeah.
And Billy goes, "Yo, like we're gonna have people over." My parents thought we'd be at school and we'd be occupied. Not so. So he had like a 3-day long party.
Yes.
And I remember the one night you and Billy Skaggs were playing guitar in the corner, and it was like I was watching, just enthralled, and I'm sitting there watching, and I kind of look to my right and look to my left, and I realize I'm the only dude in the room, and I go, I need to be one of those guys.
Nice. I do remember that. I remember Billy Skaggs' brother had like a beautiful Les Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And Billy Skaggs, I remember he was playing, his big song was Elderly Woman.
Yeah.
That was the one song he could play.
Yeah.
And I think I could play Glycerine or something like
That's
that.
all it took.
Anyway, that's all it took. That's exciting, man. So that was when you started.
Yeah, and I was like, I always liked music,
right.
And I was like, I have to learn how to do this. And we spoke, and you were able to find room in your schedule. You were able to cancel some events and teach me a few chords.
Well, I'll tell you, you were always a creative guy from knowing you as a kid. So if you would have found anything creative, you would have done that. So like it was just a matter of time before, you know, it could have been keyboard, it could have been stand up, but like it happened to be guitar.
Nude modeling.
Nude modeling, photography,
but which I'm also really, really prolific in.
But you were going to do something to be out there, and I'm glad you picked that.
I have all
we
those.
All are. We all are.
Thanks. Thank you.
Now
very
I'm crying.
much. I have all the unsatisfactory conduct grades on my report cards to prove it. But yeah, so you showed me a few chords, and we're that old where internet wasn't a thing, YouTube wasn't a thing. It was guitar magazines.
Hell yeah!
And I remember like Natalie and Bruglia.
We
like
go to
Torn.
top 10 on McDade.
Dude. Big shout out Chris Warner down in Florida.
Hells yeah, man. Hugh Feely.
Yeah.
So yeah, we go to top 10 and just sit there and steal their tablature. And finally, Chris is like, "Can you buy the magazine? It's $5.99. You've been here for 6 hours." We were like, "Sorry." Does that mean we have to leave now? So we'd stop stealing their tabs.
And then when did we start playing together? When did it become The couple that
The
we've
couple?
been for 20 years. My brother's graduation party, I think, right?
That
was
would've been
before
when?
that,
That would have been,
or was it Chris Monaco's?
which was first?
Me, I don't know for sure, but maybe it was Tommy's graduation
Tommy's
party.
graduation.
I think Chris was there and was like, "Hey,
And
I got
I
a
saw
studio
a
upstairs."
prominent Collingdale mom getting fingered on the side of your house.
Oh yeah,
I swear I was a kid. I couldn't believe it.
It was a sexy
Her
vibe.
pants were unbuckled.
Yeah,
I know the name. Well, I won't. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Was that the same party where I had like my family like out back of our house in Collingdale? It was a twin, and the two alcoholic men next door started fist fighting
because
in the middle of the party, and like
it ended in
dudes
his
were like
house.
ushering the women inside because it was so upsetting.
Yeah.
People
But
were
it
like,
was-
"We're already taking a chance coming to this Collingdale
But it
town."
felt so normal, like come growing up from my family, that it was just the way Saturdays ended.
Yeah,
You know, so
Yeah.
it was like the party. I remember it. It was like, oh God, everyone was scared, kind of ushering the children. I lived a couple blocks away. We grew up 2-3 blocks away.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, that's I'd say we first started playing there, but I started. Well, I guess I started in about 8th grade. So I guess I was about 4 years later.
Uh-huh.
We kind of hooked up.
Yeah.
But I started in 8th grade at St. Joe's Collingdale, and there was like 7 or 8 guitar players in my class.
Maddie McCann.
Maddie's your grade.
Yeah.
Billy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Billy
I was
played.
just thinking of like that scene. That's more Bonner, right? When
That's
you guys
Bonner. I
Shout out
started-
Matt McCann.
Yeah, Muskrat Flats. Cool.
Shout out Muskrat Flats.
Yes. But I started in 8th grade because I was John Lennon. I was obsessed with John Lennon. 2 short years before that, I was Public Enemy, EPMD.
Yeah.
Like
You're a big
everything.
Eric Sermon guy.
I was a big hip hop guy, which is probably where the beatbox and stuff got started. But
And just the soul and
the
just your
soul,
swagger.
Yeah, yeah. That blackness I have. I think,
Yeah.
But and then 8th grade, fell in love with the Beatles. And then I remember specifically going on a family vacation and seeing that my dad had in the back of this car, had a Last Waltz tape. And I remember him playing and being like, this is awful. Like, do we have to listen to this or whatever? And then like in 8th, or this was like 6th grade, I guess. 8th grade comes around and it changes my life, the harmonies and everything in it. And at that point, I just got into like going to see some theater and shows like that and getting involved in that, getting involved in harmony singing. The band was just it. The band could sing harmony with the 3 most distinct voices I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So from that point on, I got into that. Got the Bonner, played football, but I grew up playing football.
I still think of you as an athlete.
As an athlete, yeah. But as soon
Primarily.
as I saw Jesus Christ Superstar, which HT you were very involved with my friend Josh O'Hagan, he took me to see Jesus Christ Superstar. And from that point on, I started. Football was just something I wasn't interested in. I would play it, to make my dad happy. But
it became much more about bisexuality.
it became more that I was bi. But so then I joined the Bonner Play with Liga, and then liturgical music, and I met a whole crew of people that were just like kind of into music, Mr. Hat, and then all during this time, to bring in another member of our Thugfolk thing, I was childhood friends with Brian Timlin, and Brian could play the drums at like 10 years old, 9-10 years old.
Shout out BT.
He was a prodigy. He's always been a talented guy, and he was a guy who could play drums. So when I was just learning, he was playing like a madman. So I had to keep up with him. So all the while I'm playing with Brian and kind of honing my skills, my chops, and all that, and doing some side bands in high school. Then we get together right after high school, and then we have the background with Brian.
Yeah.
Pat Smith played with us in high school. He was another guy I played guitar with at shows.
And he was his connection. You had the earlier connection,
And
with
there was
him,
a secondary connection.
but it was my brother Tommy was at Westchester, and he was like this guy down the hall. Pat Smith already is from Drexel Hill,
Yep.
and he's like the Jay-Z Unplugged album was very big because it was the first time you're listening to all of his hits played by a live band,
Right.
and that was very eye-opening. Like, whoa, you can do hip-hop type stuff with live instrumentation, and no one was
Right.
doing that.
Right.
And we were able to take our street
Right.
smartness, of course. You
was-
know how it is.
It was absolutely.
from Collingdale.
I think it helped mold that band. Thugfolk is what we're talking about. Our original band. We started that when I was 19. You were 21, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe 18, 20. But I think that you met up with Pat in that dorm room in Westchester that day, and the background from Gilchrist, our band that Pat played in with me and Brian it was like, yeah, there's already familiarity there. Like, and you run into him. We wouldn't have had him back if you didn't that day.
Yeah.
So it was like that. And then boom, from that point on, we went on a little run.
Yeah. And we're still getting gigs to it from this day. I think we've proven ourselves as solo guys since, but that's what started the solo thing.
Yeah.
So our band
absolutely.
Thugfolk, and we had we came out with a record in 2003 called Splendid Mistake. Check it out. No big deal. Check it out anywhere you stream music. I mean, it's out there. Hits like McDade Boulevard, Home. I mean, it's no big deal, but it's out there if you want to check it out. But we had a few great years. We had a really nice run.
Yeah.
This is pre-social media too, so it wasn't like you could just stalk people on Facebook or whatever and know what everyone's up to.
Right.
You knew that in order to catch up with people, in order to chase chicks, in order to see your buds, you had to go where the party was on a Friday or Saturday night.
Right.
And our gigs became that party, so it was kind of like the central meeting point.
And it was the precipice of
Good word.
that piano rock. It
Yeah.
was right when Coldplay and The Fray and Ben Folds 5, and it was when the people, it was right at the beginning of when people were hearing piano and rock music, and we had the baddest piano player in the land. You know, there's other guys that played, but nobody looked like Pat playing. You know what I mean? Same thing with Brian. Nobody looked like him playing.
Yeah.
Nobody had fucking nervous breakdown freakouts. You know, playing the drums. People loved it.
Yeah,
And
it was dangerous.
I would get mad because like sticks would go flying at me, and like me and Brian always had a tumultuous. We loved each other like brothers, but we fought. But he would be throwing shit and all that, and everybody's like, "Yo, dude, that was the best part of the show." And it took me like years later to realize that was the fucking show right there.
It took us years later to realize a few things, and I'm sure on one of these episodes we'll have all the guys here.
Ah, sure, definitely. We're gonna have.
We'll go through everything. Yo, big shout out to John Gallagher too.
Johnny
Jersey
G.
John Gallagher on bass.
I think when he came, we became a real band.
Yeah.
Yeah, we became real. We were 4 kids playing instrument and just having all our friends. When he came, we became a band that could write originals and do things legit.
Yeah.
So
And we have that video that emerged after years that's on YouTube now, Thugfolk Live at Bootleggers. So check that out if you're so inclined. But that's a really good representation, I think, of how mediocre we became.
Right.
And you two trolling each other on Facebook over the years when you were doing across the street gigs like down in Sea Isle or something was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, we always kept our relationship all the way through. You know, we always played gigs together. Always.
And I still get it to this day. I still get it to this day. Oh, Barkley's playing down the street. Oh, like competition. Dude, I talk to him every day. It's my man.
Yeah.
No competition.
We don't even talk about music. Most of it's fashion.
Fashion, visual artistry.
Religion.
Yeah. Finance.
Finance, yeah. And how they're going. How awful they're going.
I have strategies, and maybe on the Patreon I'll discuss my financial strategies.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's where we kind of started. You know, we kind of started as 2 guys in the neighborhood growing up together, 2 years apart, but lived closely, and started our musical journeys differently at a different time, but kind of came together at about 20 years old, I'd say. And then kind of
in the shadow of 9/11. I believe it was born in the shadow of 9/11.
Yeah,
I think it was Thanksgiving break, 2001.
We were so patriotic back then too.
Yeah.
Like if anybody would have stepped to President Bush, I would have shot him.
Before the internet.
I don't even
Before the internet exposed
yeah, exactly.
the puppeteering.
Yeah, exactly. Then 5 years later, I'm fucking like growing like olives in my backyard and telling people to like piss on the flag. Just kidding. I didn't mean that.
No, we don't piss on the flag.
No.
Yo, shout out to first responders everywhere.
Absolutely. But yeah, before I became a flaming liberal.
Yo, shout out to first responders everywhere.
Don't piss on flags.
You piss on flags, you got a problem with Hoagie time. And that's just the way it is. So how was your weekend, Mike?
Oh, my weekend. Jesus Christ. All right. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I had a fucking weekend.
Really?
Fuck.
Does this couch have a seatbelt I could use?
So, like, I'm talking to this girl, right? You know, she's fucking a friend. She's totally cool chick, you know. But, like, you know, back and forth flirting a little bit for a couple weeks. I go to Brewski's, right? And a waitress there challenges me to a foot race. And, you know, I'm a big guy, but I'm an ex-athlete. So,
What a foolish girl.
I said, are you fucking kidding me? Kim. I love Kim. Shout out Kim. But she's like,
Kim.
I'll kill you in a race. She's 20. She's a young girl, 25. I'm like, no. I'm like, I'll smoke you. So I'm like, all right, let's go outside.
She hasn't seen the tape.
Exactly. And I said, let's go outside right now. I'm like, next to the Wawa, there's a 20-yard drag. Let's go. 2 waitresses come out. Chriser's on the video.
Good.
I got 2 videos going, and we, 1, 2, 3, go. Smoker. I start running backwards the last half, you know? So I'm moving like a big guy moves,
dude.
but a big guy that used to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so
Poised. Form.
I go back in, the bar's fucking cheering. If they could have held me, they'd put me on their shoulders. Like everybody was proud. So I start drinking shots. And I think obviously it's
naturally.
It's funny. I should have beat this girl in a race anyway. But winning a race does something to a man. I was different. I was really proud of I felt good looking. Like I felt like hot. Like I went in a bathroom. I put like water in my hair. I'm like, dude, I'm back. I'm like, so I have a couple more shots, and I talking to this girl. She's like, yeah, come up to Vola. I'm like, it's happening. This is on. I'm like, I just won a race. I look great.
She must love sprinters.
I'm like, she smells the fucking what's the opposite of estrogen? Testosterone. That's how much I don't have. But I'm thinking I got all this testosterone. I'm like, dude, I'm going. It's happening.
Is she asking you about me and stuff? Like how often we talk?
I'm not sure.
She's trying to okay.
But this is where it goes. So I go there. Like I said, great. She's a friend. So I'm kind of bombed at this point. But I'm at Tavola, and I'm noticing like the whole bar's like staring. Like I'm like, all right, I'm definitely not the only dude that's here for this chick. So like I'm drinking, having fun, blah blah. I black out. All I remember is that I'm alone. So I'm like, leaving me alone? Are you kidding me? I'm thinking the race is still fresh in my head. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, fuck this. I'm like, I pay. I get in my car. Oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, I got an Uber.
Yeah, your car, your driver. Your driver arrived to pick you up. Your ride was there.
My ride was there. I don't remember much, dude, but I remember text messages, and I wake up the next day, and you know how you wake up, you did something stupid? One eye opened. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, fuck, dude, I got a feeling. Like, this feeling's not right. I'm like, and then it's kind of coming back. I'm like, no. I'm like, don't look at your phone. Don't look at your phone. I look at my phone. Yeah, that's the last. I'm like, fuck, dude. And like, this isn't like anybody like that owed me any. Like, this was nothing. Like, I totally was just a weirdo out of nowhere. I think I went back into like the ex girl I had, and like the old the way we were fighting at the
What
end.
did the phone show?
Dude, to this day, the next 2 days, like, anyway, apologize to her. She's cool shit. Great friend. To this day, I haven't looked at the text because I'm so fucking mortified, but I will right now, and I'll read it. But I've had 2 or 3 friends say to me, like, they'll look at me halfway through, like, oh, dude. And I'll be like, dude, don't even show me. Don't even.
Oh, you've showed it to people?
Yes. And I'm like, don't tell me what it says. How bad is it? They're like, there's one part that's bad, but it's not the worst thing in the world.
You're going to look at this for the first time now?
For the first time now. I haven't looked at it.
All right, let's
I've
go.
apologized, and I've basically apologized for what I don't even know what I did, but I just know it was bad. So,
I mean,
let me read.
Is there a way to pause this real quick, just so I can like settle myself and maybe take a leak real fast?
Let's get back. Yeah, can we pause this?
We can do that, right, Tom?
All right, cool.
And we're back.
Okay, yeah.
The magic of pausing. Yo, real quick, shout out to our friends at 2SP Brewing. Sipping on some Pony Boy Light Lager tonight.
Good stuff.
Aston, Pennsylvania, Delco's own.
Really good. And also Sig Hoagie Shop for our hoagies that are...
delicious. It's always
delicious.
hoagie time when the camera goes on here.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, Mike, so...
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
All right, so I didn't read it yet. I know it's a disaster.
It's juicy.
But, all right.
Jeez.
Great girl.
Great
So
girl.
I feel really bad about this, but like obviously, like I'm a fucking maniac.
This is not us laughing at the girl.
No,
nothing.
no,
This
no,
is just.
she's a superstar. Like
Yeah.
I was a fucking weirdo, but like it wasn't even her. It wasn't like I had like this was like I just totally fucking went back somewhere or something because like like we're cool and everything, but we don't date or anything like that.
There's no like.
No, I went
obligation.
I went 22. I'm fucked up on Soko and Lime, and I'm gonna fucking
Wow.
I'm gonna let her know who the fuck I am.
All right, let's hear it.
So, all right, this is a little.
Ooh.
My heart's beating. My heart's beating fast because this is embarrassing. All right, this is Friday night at Tavola.
What's the timestamp?
All right. Okay. This is my first time reading it. I glanced at it with one eye at 5 a.m. I just shut it off. All right. Oh, man.
Episode 1, kids. Let's go.
This is 11:12 p.m.
Oh.
Seriously, fuck you. Starts out with seriously, fuck you.
Seriously, fuck you?
Like, wow. Out of
From
the gate-
jump?
From jump. No, like, I get a wow, okay. And then I said, name. Oh, this is horrible. I didn't read. Oh, this is cringy. Name. I liked you. I thought about you, but I don't play games. If that's what it was, you should have just told me. Oh. And then
She's like, dude, I just wanted to grab a beer.
dude, that's all it was. Like, and then I did nothing wrong. You left. I'm not sure what you're mad at. Dude, I'm mad at that. Dude, how much time you got?
I excused myself and said I had to go to the bathroom. I came back 3 minutes later. You were gone.
But you told me to go fuck myself. So then I give a cool, have fun. I didn't even talk into the mic. I'm shaking. Luckily, everything's cool.
Yeah.
The next day. So I guess
You're an
the whole-
artist, Mike. Your emotions sometimes lead
Dude,
the
I'm
way.
emotional. I'm very fucking I'm fiery. I'm volatile. I have a fucking rough past.
Passionate.
Passionate.
And if she would only just put up with that type of all over the mapness, she'll get loved the way she hasn't been loved in a while.
Yeah, but I was going to seal it. This was I was a week out, a couple days out. Now it's fucking. I threw a fucking bomb in it. Then I got like, oh, I'm sorry. I feel really bad. Don't be at all. I'm like, all I remember. Okay, something's personal.
Don't be. Everybody in Delaware County's on the spectrum.
Then I text like the next day, trying to be like like we're still friends. And is it like you going out and like no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. This is where I'm playing. All right, see ya. So yeah, that's done. Fuck, man.
Or is it?
But honestly, I don't know. Some chicks like a fucking man. I mean, that's the men. That's the men I grew up watching. Like they were nice. They were, and then they fucking flew off the handle.
Yeah.
And the party stopped.
Yes.
And you went home, and the next day, everybody picks up the pieces.
Yep.
That's what I grew up around. And those are the men I respect.
Everybody waking up the next morning. Why do I have a pit in my stomach? Oh, that's right.
That's
that
what
man
happened.
that did that thing. Yeah. So, dude, she could be.
So
thinking
even
of you.
later, like I play the gig, and then I tell my buddy Joey Allen about the story.
Shout out Joey Allen.
Shout out Joey Allen, one of my best buds, brother. I told him how I felt and what I did. He's like, "Yo, dude, just be fucking straight up and honest. Be like, you went there, you thought maybe you were hanging out or whatever, and it didn't go off like that, and then you kind of like, you were drunk." I'm like, that sounds very honest. I think I'm going to do that. I'm like, but I can't. You do it, and then send it. I didn't even want to send this either, but I'll read this to you too. But I think it made me look okay.
All right.
But so he sends it, and I don't get a response for like a day. So I'm like, fuck, Joe, what the fuck did you say? You made me look weirder. But let's read that.
All right. Mike, this is super open, and I think our listeners appreciate that. I know I do.
He writes, okay. All right. Hey, full disclosure. I am sorry, very weird night. I apologize. I left Brewski's having some shots with my buddy Critter to hang out with you at Tavola's. Didn't know you had friends there as well. I completely overreacted when I thought you blew me off when I left, and I got hurt. I thought we were going to hang. My bad. Hopefully we can have a do-over and see where it goes. I'm being very honest with you, and I'm sorry. And then she gave a very nice, honest answer.
Yeah.
Never said she wanted to give me do it, but I kind of get that.
Yeah, I mean,
But that was Friday night. So the rest of the weekend was like, and I had gigs this weekend, so I'm playing at Saxers in Springfield Saturday and Sunday. The whole time I'm like, oh man, I'm like, where'd that come from? But knowing me, like I bottle a lot of things up, and that could have been something like from a year ago with somebody totally different that I just like it. Maybe I felt like something again, like something, a feeling, and it brought me back to a place. But this is where I tie in the race again. I haven't won a race in a while.
Yeah.
So earlier that day, I'm blazing the video. We'll show the video. I win by a lot, and I'm wearing Sperry's and tight jeans.
You're wearing nice, fashionable shoes as well. These aren't.
No, they're Sperry's, and I win the race. So honestly,
expensive.
After that, and I had shots, and I really, really felt like I was something. And I didn't, I wanted everybody to think that, I guess.
You know what? Maybe it's on her for not realizing that. Maybe you weren't wrong, Mike.
A little bit of me thinks that. Not
Or was
gonna
it your Will Smith moment of the year?
It was just because this person's cool. You know what I mean? If it was somebody that was just, I'd be like, dude, I've had 1,000 of things, and I just whatever. But it's a cool person, a friend.
Yeah.
So,
well, you live and you learn.
Plus you look great.
It's a learning
I thought I looked
experience.
great,
Exactly. It's a learning experience.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to learn from it. I'll probably do it again.
If I learned from my mistakes, I would be king of the world right now.
Oh my God.
Keep repeating them.
I almost crashed my car twice this week.
This
going to
week?
work. Yeah, man, 2 days in a row.
Your driving record's not flawless.
I've crashed 20 cars.
20?
Absolutely, yeah. My old man was, great dad. My dad.
Yeah,
growing up. All the kids had their own cars and shit.
An ace. Shout out Joe Barkley.
Joe Bark, he's a
Shout
big
out.
podcast guy too.
Yeah, we'll have more.
Yeah.
I'll sign off on that.
All of us had cars. We had cool cars too. Volvos, like old Volvos.
Yeah.
Cars with a lot of character, classics.
European design.
Europeans. We had Peugeots, all types of shit.
European.
Nissans. And I crashed 7 or 8 of them.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude. Every time it became a thing, the car I had was gone. Every time I drive it, so
Disposable automobiles.
disposable, man. I just so a lot of accidents, that's for sure.
Hey, but you live and you learn.
But yeah, I'm driving on City Line Avenue every day, so I'm 2 times this week I'm screech and just stop right before. And I realized I got to calm down. I can't have all this thing. Like I'm glad I got that off my chest, actually, that story, because it was like creeping in my mind and all that stuff. What's wrong with me?
It's cleansing, Mike.
It's cleansing now, but I got to realize, take it easy, man. Listen to something soft, Just don't freak out and get in a car accident again, because my mind can go 1,000 places.
Yeah.
Like yours.
Yeah.
So.
That's what keeps things interesting for me.
Yeah. So that was the weekend. Anything going on in your weekend?
What was my weekend like? Yeah, I'm at Barnaby's Havertown every Sunday afternoon. Shout out Barnaby's Havertown. I'm on the deck there with my man Rob Carroll on saxophone. Has been coming through pretty steadily, and we've been cranking out the hits. It's been pretty good. Saturday had a Team Natty Ice reunion in Downingtown. Shout out Team Natty Ice.
How those guys doing? Those guys were
Awesome.
big. Those guys were very influential.
Yo.
About the time when Thugfolk was around. They were
right
huge.
before at Westchester University. Our boy Jay Barr.
Yep, Jay's
Shout out
a great
Jay Barr. TeamNattyIce.com was a website before YouTube was a thing. There was 5 websites, and we would just Monday morning we would post a bunch of stories about our weekend, and people from all around the world would check in on Monday, Tuesday morning.
I remember that.
And just read about what we did and whatever, and we'd post pictures and whatever. We sponsored a deck hockey team in Massachusetts. They reached out and were like, hey, we love your website. We have this team. Can you send us some T-shirts? We did. They sent us back their team picture. It was pretty wild. And then what eventually happened, we didn't have the foresight to secure TeamNattyIce.com for a long time. And the fucking second it expired, Anheuser-Busch snatched it up. To this day, if you go to TeamNattyIce.com, it takes you to Anheuser-Busch's website.
They fucking pilfered
They snatched it. And
Wow.
I don't know how long they have it for, but they snatched it.
I remember specifically at Millersville being in college and a fight between Team Natty Ice and people from Brick, New Jersey. Do you remember this?
No.
There was an online thing between a bunch of kids from Brick, New Jersey and Team Natty Ice, who was hardcore Natty Ice.
Oh,
fans.
on a guest book, right?
A guest book thing.
Yeah. I kind of do remember that.
Yeah. But that's cool. So where'd you get together Saturday?
Mike Price's house in Downingtown. Awesome. Beautiful home. Thanks to him and Lynn for hosting us. It was awesome to catch up with those dudes. We only do it once a year anymore. which
Yeah.
is a shame. But when we do get together, it's fun. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was so
I
awesome.
remember being with an ex-girlfriend up and going to Westchester to visit you, and I was with the Team Natty Ice guys, right? And I'm dating this girl, and like things are really going well. And we have a great night. We hang out there. We go somewhere in Westchester. We're driving home the next day from Westchester, your Team Natty Ice house. We stop and get fries, or like, burger and fries from Chad's Ford Tavern or something like that. The fries come out, right? And I put ketchup all over them. Like I just get the ketchup, one of those old school red bottles that you squeeze. And she looks at me and she's like, I can't believe you just did that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, that was so inconsiderate. Like, you didn't ask me if I liked ketchup on my fries. I'm like, I'll just get you another order of fries. I'm sorry. She never talked to me again. I dropped
That's
her off.
fine.
Yeah. So when
That's
I think of Team Natty Guys, I think of her and that story.
Well,
Yeah.
if we're gonna frame this in a positive way, Mike,
Which, like, I'm glad you do.
Team Natty Ice helps you cut through all the bullshit and just let people be people. So rather than
Be hard on myself. to
tiptoeing
this day.
around things for a while, you guys figured it out right then and there.
That's probably
Team
why-
Natty Ice gave you guys time of your life back.
And that's probably why I acted that way on Friday.
Probably. Most likely.
Oh, that's great.